lifestrategic.com, and it's written about an American guy who is a life coach and a business coach and more other things. And he's talking about the benefits of chess. What can chess really teach you about life? And he says here that chess is a game of honesty. It requires calculation, moves, analysis, interpretative skill, resilience, and practice. Nothing is hidden on the board. The less you know of the game, the easier it is to overestimate your own strengths or underestimate your weaknesses. As I get ready to leave my 40s, I am in a unique position to study the life end game, perhaps to the chagrin of my younger 20-something friends, awash in newfound freedom and dreams. And he gives a quotation from Jose Raul Capablanca. In order to improve your game, you must study the end game before everything else. For whereas the endings can be studied and mastered by themselves, the middle game and the opening must be studied in relation to the end game. And the author of the blog says that the games of youth can bring you an unrivaled joy and an inspirational view of the world, whether you are winning or losing. Every loss can be spun up to be a learning experience and so written off as a win of sorts. Things aren't as personal when you are moving at the speed of a 25-year-old. If a challenge goes against you, you can always up the ante or find a bigger one behind it. You win games in youth, often by sheer enthusiasm. My mentor called it bluntly, take enough risks and some will pay off. In his direct quote, fortune favors fools. But as I said, I'm turning 50 soon, and my game is more based on defense and minimizing risk. I have substantive assets to protect, and the lightning inspiration I had at 20 doesn't find me often, perhaps because I've learned not to trust it. Being consistent is something I take pride in, yet my publishing... Okay, so that one is talking about something else about his blog. And then another quotation that I like here, he says, quoting Edward Guffold, "For me, chess is life, and every game is like a new life. Every chess player gets to live many lives in one lifetime." What do you think, Chris?
Well, yeah, there's a lot in there. So if we just pick out a couple from there, I think one of the first things he mentioned was the honesty. I think chess is a game where it certainly brings out the character in people. I would say there's quite a lot of quirky chess players out there, but the genuine goodness of people can usually be seen quite a lot in chess, and it certainly puts the question to yourself as well, so you can self-analyze your own character, you know your own temperaments, and you can also see that within the way you play as well.
Yes.
And as the blogger was saying there as well, when you're younger, in your 20s, you're a bit gun-ho and you take risks and you're happy-go-lucky, and you've got that freedom of youth, of inexperience. And as he was saying earlier on, later on in his post there, when you're getting older, you can draw on that experience, you can slow down, and you can think, okay, I've treaded this path before, I know the risks, I know where we're going and how to beat this. And it tells you experience is a great thing to learn from, and whether you win, lose or draw, it's that reflection afterwards and figuring out why did it happen. And I think that's a great quality to have, that you can actually analyze that and be honest with yourself as well. Now Capablanca, who you've mentioned there, he's my favourite all-time player. My style.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Capablanca is from Cuba. Very, very good player. A positional player like myself. But he was talking about the end game. Now, chess is seen in that three sector part. There's the opening, which is a lot of theory too. You can read millions of books on opening theory, and it changes from day to day. Middle game, you could argue, is where the game is settled. That's the combinations and the tactics and the higher strategy. In the end game, what we call the end game, is when there's very few pieces on the board, but because of the parameters of it and the space that's involved, it's actually the most complex part of it. And there's themes that you can learn within the end game. And he's saying there that to understand the end game, that's actually the critical part of the learning, because the end game is based on what happens throughout the opening and the middle game.
Yes.
And it's actually the end game that you're ultimately striving for. So if
of
you,
course,
so if
it
you,
decides the results.
yeah. So if you realise how that end game, or how an end game can actually be winning or better for you, that will actually design the way you play in the opening and the middle game.
So practically prepare in youth for getting older.
Yeah. So
Not what you see today.
yeah. So obviously, age is a factor within chess once you get beyond 40, especially in practical terms, in regards to like matches, because you can't think as quick as the youngsters. You can't move as quick as the youngsters. And when you play fast games, what we call blitz or lightning chess, where you've only got 5 minutes on the clock or something like that, it's very hard to do to keep up with the youngsters.
I did have such a match.
Yeah.
And oh God, he beat me in 5 minutes. I don't know, maybe maximum 7.
Yeah. Yeah, that type of chess is very stressful when you get to the 40s. So you do tend to actually stick with what we call the longer term, long time controls. So you're like an hour for the game or even longer. And
My problem was not that he was younger. No, he knew too well. He was a champion, actually. He was only 9, but he was a champion in Romania. And he moved so fast, he didn't even think. And because of that, I started without wanting to copy him, to move fast as well. And then when I started moving something really badly, he started laughing, and I said, okay, now it's gone. Now I can say goodbye to it.
yeah, it's a trick that a lot of youngsters do employ, and it's about confidence as well. And I think chess can do that as well. It can make somebody, quite extrovert in their character, but if you know what you're doing and you're confident, and you can be a bit cheeky as well, you can actually play quite quickly, and it can be off-putting to your opponent.
Yes.
So I think we heard a word earlier on. One thing which is really hard to control in chess is discipline.
Yes.
And if you have that self-discipline to be able to actually control emotions, because chess is a very emotional game. Incredibly emotional game. So if you can self-discipline yourself to not react to that enthusiasm, that quickness, and actually, stay in the zone, as it were, and know your own game, your own pattern and things like that, then experience will tell.
Is it bad to be enthusiastic?
No, it's not bad to be enthusiastic. I would encourage it, but you've got to curb it.
Okay.
And because you can...
So don't go there.
So don't go too far.
Yeah.
Love the game, and the game is wonderful, but it's not the be-all and end-all of things.
Yeah.
And as I said, when you lose, if you're over-enthusiastic, it's heartbreaking.
Yes, that's true. If you involve too much, then you start crying.
Yeah. And
Like my mother.
And if you lose to a 9-year-old, it's utterly demoralising.
No, not really. It was not, really, sincerely, it was not, because I already knew who he was.
Right.
And I said, okay, first I played with somebody else. I played with another member who was 9 as well, 9 or 10. And I knew I could beat him. So I don't know. I just looked at him and I said, I know I can beat him. And I beat him, and then the teacher saw that I beat him, and he said, "Oh, you beat him. Okay, play with this one." And I said, "Okay, oh my God, what am I going to do?" And of course, I got beaten, but I didn't. So I wasn't upset because of it. I wanted to go back to that club, but unfortunately, it was summertime,
Okay.
and they had holiday, and then I left. I
Okay.
left Romania, so. I didn't have the chance to play.
So-
I don't mind. I don't mind if I play a game 100 times. If I get beaten 100 times, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because next time I'll be better.
Okay, there's two things there. Somebody at my level, if I lost to a 9-year-old in a tournament,
Yeah, it's a problem.
I would be very, very upset. But again, we'll go back to the discipline. If you can actually sit and realise, okay, I've been beaten because A, the player's better.
Yeah.
You know, has he shown me something that I can really learn from? And if you can
Yeah.
take that away, reflect on it, learn from it, use it, steal it, then that's a good thing.
Copy paste it.
Yeah. If you lose a game
Don't
by,
say steal it.
by a stupid tactic,
Yeah.
by just a self blunder, what we call blundering, it's really hard to take. And especially if you're playing for a team and you've lost the game for the team,
Yes,
you know,
I know how it is.
you feel so responsible. You feel as though you've let the team down. You know, it happens.
I lost a game. So we made a game. We were in a Japanese school for learning Japanese and other things Japanese, and we had several contests. And at one contest we won, and then it came the contest with chopsticks. And normally I'm good at chopsticks, but I was so much under pressure. It was incredibly high pressure there. It was a room. Like, I don't know, 4x4, full of people, and everybody was cheering, and some were booing, okay, but everybody was cheering, let us say like this, and I had to be the best, and they nominated me, they pushed me forward, because they knew that the last contest they won because of me, so now they pushed me forward, you can do it, and I couldn't master my emotions, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't move the chopsticks.
No.
Yeah,
it's pressure.
so that is pressure.
Pressure.
Really, really pressure. So yeah, it was nothing. You didn't. So there was no result, no money, no nothing involved. I think they did give something, some sweets, Japanese sweets, and that was actually bad. Maybe it was the only occasion in which I lost because I couldn't master my emotions. I think it was the only thing that I can remember.
On the flip side of that, though, as I said, it can be really hard. But when you win a game and you know you've won it well and you've got the result for the team, the thrill that gives you is unbelievable. Now, one of my greatest achievements in 2012 is I got a silver medal in the Olympiad. And you can imagine going up to the stage to receive a silver medal. And I was on board 2 from a 4-board team. And our board 1 at the time as well. He also got a silver medal. And you can imagine the pride that gives. You know, you're going up in front of a big crowd and you're receiving a medal because you have actually, when I say you, me, that was me, you know, a player has played well for a team to actually achieve that.
Yes.
And that's, you know, elation is wonderful.
So what qualities do you need to play chess, to start learning chess?
Okay, so we've mentioned discipline. You need to be incredibly disciplined, just even in the playing room, because there's no talking. You're not allowed to talk. There's no noise during a chess game.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah, it's good because you've got to be able to calculate.
You know what somebody told me? He said that he played for Northampton. I told you about this guy. And some people, well, he didn't say, his friend said it. Some people said bad things about him, and then he cracked. He refused to play.
There can be some nastiness in chess. You know, you can't get away from that. There's some bitter rivalries. It's, again, if you talk about qualities, competitiveness is a big feature in chess.
Yes.
You know, it's a battle. You know, it's a war. You know, in a match, each board is a battle. The whole match is the war. Yeah, so
Yes.
it can be quite bitter. But most chess players, it's etiquette at the start of the game. You shake hands and you say, "We're beginning the battle." At the end of the game, you shake hands, and the battle or the war's finished,
Yes.
and then you can be,
Friends.
nice, be friends again.
You
Yeah.
couldn't say it.
But-
I heard
but-
you saying what you couldn't
but-
say it.
But when you're playing, you want to do as much damage to that person as psychologically. You want to demoralize them because you
Yes.
want to win,
Yes.
and that's got to be quite good. You got to be able to multitask because there's a lot of factors you got to deal with. There's the board you got to deal with, the situation, the pressure, the team match. You got to handle the clock because the clock is a very important thing. Because if you run out of time, you lose.
Yes.
Whatever the position is on the board. So, quality-wise, you need to be organised. You got to be ruthless because when you got your opponent, on the edge, on the ropes, you got to be able to be ruthless enough to actually kick him over that. In a metaphorical sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you've got to be quite methodical. You can't be haphazard. You can't be erratic. You've got to proceed on the chessboard in a routine manner. You've got to have a very good memory to
Yes.
become a very good chess player because you've got mountains of information. You've got to remember opening theory. You've got to know endgame studies. All of this. There's a lot out there. And obviously, the more you retain, if you can keep it, you can recall it during the game, and that will support you.
What features does chess develop in you if you start playing seriously?
I think it helps you to, as I said, self-organise yourself. Prioritisation, I would say. It puts into perspective what your troubles in life are, and if they are a problem, or if you're over anxious about something, you think, well, you know what, is it that bad?
Yes.
Because you've got time to think about things and start realising, there's more things out there in this world than worrying, have I missed an episode of Coronation Street this week? You put things...
Some people have a life in it.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Life does get a little bit, more focused. And, going on for that, if you travel with chess, as I said, I've been to some pretty wild places. One of the most, that one I mentioned just now, the Olympiad, that was in Chennai in India.
Wow.
And that was quite an awe-inspiring place to go around and, see the daily life, of the people there. And we were like, several hundred people, in quite a high-class hotel, living the Western life quite comfortably. But yet you stepped outside and, the world disintegrated quite quickly, with the poverty and status of life and all of that.
Do you feel poverty? Can you feel poverty?
Yeah, you sense it, through the people, walking through the streets. But yet...
What is the smell of India?
It started... Well, it was a mixture, It was obviously a lot of spices, but there was a lot of refuge about. But there was... we were on the beaches, which were incredibly clean, quite a lot of the shopping areas, wonderful smells of all the variety of food, that was being presented.
Yes.
But, the bigger, it was just, the people were just beyond, I can't think of a better adjective rather than pleasant, nice, they were so, not subservient, but they were happy to help or speak to you. And as you walk around here, in England, you can get that, rather stiff upper lip, reserved attitude, where
You are from the north.
I am from the north, yeah. But
He's from the north, okay?
yeah, I'm from the north. But, you know, the people that you could interact with everybody. And it was just the mixture of cultures, you know. Another place I've been to, this is a perfect example, right? I've been to Goa in India for a chess tournament. And because there's a lot of Christianity out there because the Portuguese occupation. But you saw a temple and a church next door to each other.
Yes.
And they were in harmony. And there was no conflict, there was no issue.
You can see the same in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Thailand less, in Malaysia, yes, you can see the same things.
Yeah.
Hindu temple, mosque, Christian church, far further away.
But is that not wonderful to be able to see that and experience that?
Yes.
You know, you think that's how the world should be living, you know, in just acceptance in, you know, what we're doing, you know. Let's do our own thing, let's respect each other's thing. And if we can live next door to each other as neighbours, then is that not just wonderful?
Hi, this is One Hour with Ladies Talk on Radio Inspiration FM. I have here with me Chris Ross, and he asked me to ask him about teaching. So, what about teaching?
Yeah, so I fell into teaching first.
Yes.
I never went out to become a teacher. Quite a lot of my life has been resulted in a bit of stubbornness. When somebody says to me, you can't do this, I'll go out my way to actually do it.
Yes.
So when I left school, I was very interested in languages. I did French, German, Latin at school.
Yes.
And I was uncertain to what I would do for my A-levels. My careers advisor then said, choose one of them. And I, in quite a stubborn way, went, I'll choose all three. And like, no, you can't do that. You're not widening your horizons. I went, okay, I'll do it then. So I took languages for A-levels. I studied German at university. And when I finished my German degree, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So I went to another advisor and said, what should I do with German? And they went, well, don't know. And I suggested, should I teach it for a while? And they went, nah, you can't do teaching. You won't survive it, you know, the teacher training. Because it is a very, very hard course. It's what we call the PGCE here in England. And it's a 2-year course rolled into one. And it's very, very hard. So, just to be stubborn, I did it. And then I got into, became a teacher. I got a full-time job as a teacher. And again, just like chess, I think languages is a vehicle to expose not only yourself but others to other great things that are around, the world. Yes. Now, obviously, Germany and German came out as my strongest language, and I was really interested in that. Lots of friends over there. But the school I taught at in Cambridgeshire was, there was a lot of underprivileged kids there. There was quite bad behaviour and things like this. And a lot of them had never been out of the town, never even been out of England. And going to Germany, that was something, because for them it was a rather abstract thing, to sit in a classroom and just learn a bunch of words.
Yes.
What's in that? So picking them up, actually taking them out to like Germany, things like that was really a driving force for me, And I did 10 years of it. I know that there was some good times, there were bad times, but I'd like to think that, there's a couple of hundred kids who I know will never forget their experiences of learning languages, because I took them out. One example is a trip I went on with a religious education teacher at the time, and we went to Auschwitz. And we took some of the most ill-disciplined kids you can imagine. And for them, walking around Auschwitz was emotionally draining for them. And it just totally put into perspective for them, what life is about and how history was affected. And
Yes.
it was not just inspirational for us, but it was for the kids as well. And they'll never forget that. They'll never forget that. And I think as a teacher, you're there to facilitate stuff like that. Yeah, you're not just there to teach them how to count 1 to 100. You
Yes.
know, for me, the culture, identity were more important than the actual language.
Yes.
And I find that
You
incredibly
cannot
sad.
separate them, actually. Some people separate them, but you cannot separate them.
Yes, with the structure here in England, it's very constructed where you got to teach to the exam. Yeah, so it's the exam that matters. How the exam is passed. What mechanisms do you need to actually pass that exam?
Yes.
Yeah? So the exposure to the what I call most important parts of it, as I said, the culture, the food,
Yes.
just showing them what food they eat there.
Not
And-
only show, but actually taste it.
yeah,
Would be
absolutely,
great.
absolutely.
Although it doesn't taste well.
What,
Sorry.
German food?
Yeah.
German food's great.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
No taste. I'll tell you my own experience. I went to Germany for 9 months, and I already heard about the sausages, the German sausages, and I went to the first thing that I did was go into the supermarket and I saw the types of sausages that they have. Okay, I tried each of them. They have no taste, Chris.
Yeah, come
They
on.
have no taste. I don't know. Maybe I think it might be the same thing as in doing the food at home,
Right.
here or in any other part of the world. At home, they taste much better if you make it yourself. If you take it from a supermarket, mm-mm. And also, I have a good comparison with Romania. You cannot believe how good they are in Romania. You cannot believe it.
You're
Trust me. No, trust me.
Okay, just one extra thing about teaching, right? And this is what I'm saying about facilitating. I had quite an interest in A-levels teacher for German, but the one good thing she did manage to do is to get me on a German exchange. Right?
Yes.
So I went on a German exchange and I met this real top guy, all right? And we became very firm friends. And this was sheer chance, by meeting through an exchange. And, we're still very firm friends today. We've travelled the world to see each other, literally the world to see each other. And one of the greatest honours that I would say I've ever had, a couple of years ago, me as an Englishman, I was his best man at his wedding.
Nice.
For an honour to have been created like that, just by a teacher facilitating, a German exchange, and that friendship is now,
I hope he cooks.
bloomed.
I hope he cooks better than the supermarket.
Come on. Currywurst is one of the best things you could ever eat. Curry sausage.
I
come on.
tried ribs, spare ribs. Those were fine.
Right.
Those were fine, but no sausages for me.
It's hundreds of sausages,
Yeah, I know. Hundreds of types. Probably I took exactly the wrong type.
No,
So,
sausage and beer. There's lots of good beer in Germany.
Yeah, somebody told me that. He asked me, okay, do you drink beer? And I said, no, I don't drink alcohol. And he asked me, why have you come to Germany? And I said, okay, there must be other things to Germany than beer, but I guess it's popular culture, so
Yeah.
you have to accept that beer is
Yeah, well,
part of their culture.
Yeah.
But again, indeed, you cannot separate culture from language. In Romania, we teach both.
right.
I mean, actually, we teach everything. We learned in university language, culture, civilization, anthropology, history of the place, everything. So you cannot learn only the language. It's impossible.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's just the way, education is structured in this country. I did it for 10 years, and I
Why
left.
did you stop?
I became very frustrated with the system. It's very structured in what you can teach and how you can teach, how you evidence the teaching. It's very prescriptive in what you do, and there's no flexibility. for actually, putting your own emphasis on how your own subject. Yeah.
Yes.
And then again, I got quite disillusioned with the support that was given to students who had additional needs. Yeah.
Yes.
There wasn't the facility to give people not more help, but teach them in a way that they could actually learn. Yeah.
Yes.
They had a big shout out about what the English notion is called differentiation. Yeah. They would say, "Oh, you've got to be able to differentiate," but basically they was saying just give extra activities to the clever ones.
Yes.
But that was just giving them more brownie points. It wasn't supporting, the ones who needed the support. So yeah, I became a bit disillusioned. I would argue that teaching is a young person's game. You need lots of energy, lots of enthusiasm. And then I went into what we call higher education. So I went into for support for disabled students
Yes.
at university, and giving them, making sure that they were, had sufficient enough money and equipment and things like that.
Yes.
And then I've been really fortunate to move in at King's College, where my remit is inclusive education. So, I'm helping academic staff, realise good strategies for teaching. So I've become quite a rounded practitioner, really, because I've seen it from the student point of view, and I've also seen it from the teaching point of view.
Yes, so you know both sides.
So I'm a very rounded person.
Nice. You did what I did. When I came here, I went for GCSE, for maths.
Yeah.
And I don't need it. Sincerely, I don't need it. But I went for the GCSE just to see it, just to see how you teach here.
Yeah.
So I've been a supply teacher and also a student. So yes, by now I can tell, but I cannot say it on air, of course.
No.
Because I'm not from the north. I'm not like you.
No. And that's, again, if chess could be learnt in schools, then
That would be great.
That would give you life skills. Just being able to organise yourself. Say, put things in order, prioritise your tasks and what's important, Teach you great maths skills.
It's fun, and it's also fun. I mean, to know that your queen is going to be taken, and you cannot do anything about it. That is fun. It's unusual fun, but it is fun.
Yeah. So,
for example, when I played with that guy, I knew exactly what he was going to do. 2-3 moves, not too much, but 2-3 moves ahead. And I said, "Oh my God, what am I going to do now?" And he asked me, "So you know what I'm going to do?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Yes, but I cannot do anything about it."
About it. Okay. Right, if I could just give a plug to the Braille Chess Association, which
Yes,
is obviously the association that I mentioned earlier on, which is for supporting and promoting, facilities for chess players.
That's Bovis.
Yeah, he's giving a shake. 'Cause he's so this association then is, it provides support, coaching, facilities, for visually impaired players. So people can go online and learn lots more about it, especially if you know somebody who, wants to learn a bit of chess or get a bit of coaching or something like that. It's a great thing to do and to support. So you can find us at www.braillechess.org.uk. Again, if you just Google it, people will find it as well. And there's lots of good stuff out. There's billions of chess sites out there, absolutely millions. Some are good, some are not so good. I think you found the chess.com one earlier on. So that is a resource. Be selective, I would suggest, in what you learn, because there's good stuff and there's bad stuff, and there's an endless amount of stuff that you can read out there. I would say take things slowly, because chess is a game that takes a long time to learn. Yeah, I think I'm in my nearly 25th season.
Yes.
Of playing, and arguably I'm still learning stuff. So it's a long haul game. You're not going to become an amazing player overnight. It's going to take years, and I mean years, and you keep learning. you know. But that's the good thing about it, and that's another quality for chess, is that you've got to be adaptable. Yeah, you got to be able to.
And it keeps your
change.
mind healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I'm travelling, and I travel quite a lot, yeah, you can be sat on a train, and you can suddenly think, oh, why did I do that in that last game? What if I had done that position? Yeah. Now, when I played in Sheffield, there was a friend of mine. We used to travel on the bus coming back from the matches, and we used to sit there without a board, and we used to talk all this language. Like, why didn't you play rook e1? Oh, because of the skewer on e8. Oh, but you could have forked on c6 maybe. And it's a different language. And people are looking around at you going, what are they talking about? What are they on about? And, and it's wonderful because, A, you're doing something on the bus, you know, you're passing time, but it's something you're enjoying. And it's mental.
Exclusivistic.
Yeah.
So nobody else can understand what you're doing.
Exactly. But, you know, it's that mental agility, and it keeps you active, you know, keeps your mind going, and it's good.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much. And can you tell me one thing that people can learn from you? One thing that you learned from your life? One thing. Or three things. How many you remember?
It isn't that. Obviously, summing it up in one word is quite hard. I think, if nothing else, I would hope that I'm an example of endurance. You know, keep at something. Yeah, whatever you're trying to do, even if you feel as though you're failing or you're not good at it or anything like that, it doesn't matter about talent. It doesn't matter about, you know, being better than somebody else. If you get something out of it, if you can strive for that, industry, that's hard work alone, will get you something. And if it gives you that satisfaction, yeah, you'll get hardships on the way, and you've got to learn to take those hardships on the chin, but be positive about it, you know, and that's what I've learned. And because the places I've been, the things I've done, you know, the things I've experienced, you know, it's been a hard road, and you take a lot of knocks, but the ultimate win, the ultimate profit, you know, it is something that you can savour. So be persistent, if I want to sum it up.
Thank you so much, Chris. Have a nice day.
Yeah, cool.
See you
Thanks.
soon.